All right, I'll try and speak in a low voice. Hey guys, it's Turok. I'm trying to do several takes to get this audio right and get my thoughts together on the topic of this video. Today I want to go over, I keep forgetting which way I have to look at the camera. Today I want to go over the, this can't really be a theory because we know some of this stuff happens, but a video about how I think Cipher Pol and how Cipher Pol could have agents working among pirates, because I spoke a bit about this in the past with another video, and I'm gonna go into it in a moment. But this idea came to me last night, as the last couple of nights I was rewatching the Tea Party arc bit of Whole Cake Island because I wanted to see more about Stussy. This is related to chapter 1073. Up to this point of the manga, and Stussy's very relevant in the story now, and I forgot that she was at this part of this Tea Party part of the story until like last week, and I went back to see this because I was trying to remember if it was revealed even that she was a Aigis 0 agent at the time. I thought when I saw her for initially about 10 chapters ago in the manga, the 1063 or so, when it shows her and Kaku and Lucci, I didn't know who she was. And I thought she was completely new Aigis 0 agent. And then I find out, then we found out what we found out about her with her alliance with Vegapunk. Allegiance with Vegapunk, not alliance, allegiances. And so I wanted to go back and watch the Whole Cake Island arc and see what she was doing there. Any hints, basically, at this time, because the last time I saw the Whole Cake arc, I read it in like early 2019, so almost 4 years ago. It was like probably spring that year I read it, and I didn't really watch. I only watched the fights of this with Luffy about 18 months ago. Didn't see all of this. So I forgot a lot about it. So I was very surprised to see that they did show her reveal herself to the loan shark character, I believe it was, as well as Morgan's here. And I thought about this last night, about how brilliant it is that she is part of Aigis 0, has this position also of being the queen of the pleasure district, they call her, and how that put in her position as well to be so affluent as in that position, being called the queen of the pleasure district, that she got to go to a party hosted by one of the emperors of the sea. I imagine when she got this invitation, I'm thinking that the Aigis 0 might have some other boss, someone who might report more to the Gorosei that we haven't seen. Kind of like there's that commander-in-chief that works above Sengoku and now Kainu. Anyway, that probably was really excited to find out that she had got invited to this party, that Stussy that is, and probably was, I imagine Stussy could have even had I wonder, I didn't finish watching all the episodes. I'm thinking she could have had some special Den mushies to take pictures or try and find any other information she could there to help them, because they want to take down the emperors, the world government, and the Cipher Pols would be the ones to find information that can help the Marines. Anyways, Stussy's in a unique position here that not every Cipher Pol agent could do. So, but this had me thinking back to how in the past Lucci and Kaku and the other CP9, formerly CP9 agents, also had worked as shipwrights to try to work their way into Iceberg's shipwright company so they could try to steal the Pluton plans. And this made me think about what if Cipher Pol has been the ones who also have agents among the pirates? Because back when I didn't think about this, I didn't quite say this at the time, I think, No, I'm pretty sure I didn't. But back when we saw that Law and Law and Blackbeard are fighting on the unknown island close by in the New World to where Elbath and Egghead are, we saw right away that Akainu got a report about this happening. And I was pondering how in the world could they realize this is happening there. And the main thing I speculated at the time was that do the Marines send ships out to tail known pirates, such as especially like someone like Blackbeard or even Whitebeard or Big Mom, who have big fleets. They could easily have other ships tailing them because they make known with their flags, their Jolly Rogers, that they're going around. Also to be also like an intimidation factor from to keep other smaller pirates or even their main rivals, with like Big Mom maybe wanting to keep any Kaido ships away from them so they don't have World War III happen. So there's that possibility still. But looking at other things Cipher Pol has done in the past and thinking about how easy, how they integrate themselves into society in the way that Lucci and the other CP9 did back 2 years ago. I think they did that for 5 years. They pretended Khalifa worked as she worked as an assistant for Iceberg, and the others, as I recall, the name of the Kaku and especially I know Kaku. Oh yeah, Kaku and Lucci worked at the shipwright. Oh yeah, and Bluno wasn't working in the company. He was a bartender, I believe, and I forget what the others did. So they integrated themselves into the community of Water 7 one way or another. And now Stussy took a different route of gaining information by being probably working within some pleasure district. So probably prostitution, some kind of a brothel, and she must have worked her way up into being a head of some place. There must be, I'm guessing, some main island in the New World that this is where she conducts business, or maybe there's a big island where her and these other guys all like some other kind of city, like kind of like in Pirates of the Caribbean movie. There's the city of, I think, Tortuga. That's like a big hub for pirates. Someplace where she's in command of this now. But she probably, I suspect she did that as an Aigis 0 agent. Or maybe it's the other way around. Yeah, now I'm going into Stussy a little bit, but I'm getting to a point here where what I'm getting at now is I'm wondering if there are pirates on other crews, like Kaidos or Blackbeards or Laws. I'll bring up Kaido because there are actually Cipher Pol agents. I bring up Kaido's because back to when Kaido and Big Mom formed their alliance, they did it together on Onigashima, and then suddenly the whole world knew about it. I'm sure Morgans is the one who reported on it too. But how did that information get out there? Who would tell anyone? Hold on. Like I can see Kaido, for example, wanting to tell the world in some capacity eventually. I could see him like wanting to make a move first so that he can keep an alliance a secret. But this became known very quickly. And it's just something there. At the time, I just didn't think of that either. What broke the news outside of like Morgan? Actually, I should go look that up. I'm going to pause and look that up. Never mind, I can't quite find it. Alright, I do recall here though that the Kaido's army here begins gathering. And that too brings up a question too, how they would see all that, other than obviously like seeing all these troops gather. So I'm just looking at Kaido's massive amount of troop people there. I could see him having a someone in there giving who can secretly tell. Actually, I forgot all about too. There's right there one of the ways that could work. We got friggin' Drake. How did I forget this? Drake is there providing information too. So there's probably, I'm just wondering if there's this, so using Drake too as a better example, I'm thinking like the Cipher Pol would have someone like him though, who though would do it in a way of, because Cipher Pol could do this even better than Drake because they don't have any real identity as part of a society where they have friends or family. They're trained as children from children to be part of this agency and to work their way up and usually become assassins and do the stealth stuff. So given the way the world is where it's not like they have the internet and they can look up somebody's name, so word of mouth is the only way to really verify someone else. Like if you know, say you work for Cipher Pol, say Cipher Pol's working has an undercover agent, and how do I say it? And they're working undercover for years, and you don't know, they're working for you as some kind of boss. Say I'm running a candy shop or something, and I have this guy working for me for years, and I think he's a great guy. This is Lucci. I'm gonna pretend it's Lucci again. He's working for me. I think he's working a great job. He doesn't talk with the kids that much, but he does his job in stocking his stuff, helping me keep things in order. I should use Khalifa maybe. Either or. And let's say one day someone else comes to a shop someone I know who comes from, I work on the Grand Line, and I know someone from the West Blue who comes in, and they just so happen to recognize Lucci. That would be like the only way that his cover could be blown. So it's easier in a way too in this world, the way the world is in One Piece, being more of this 19th century setting where mass communication outside. I mean, they got Dun Mushies that operate like phones, but it's still not like the internet. I mean, Russians were doing spying stuff, and Americans too were for decades in the Cold War. So it's not that hard to conceive if you study some of that. So I'm just looking at something like Kaido's crew, and I'm thinking like he had the other officers. I think they're called the 10-year. Oh, I can't remember the name now. I'm thinking like who's who. It can't be who's who. They tried to kill him because he lost the Luffy's fruit. But I'm just looking at any of these other people that Oda could secretly later on say, oh, he was he or she was also stop this because it's distracting. Was a agent all along, and they're feeding information especially to the Marines, helping Akainu and the others figure out what the warlords, the Marines are doing, so that they can try to put a stop to them, figure out how strong they're getting, what kind of allies they're doing. Now, when it comes to Big Mom, I think this could probably be quite a bit harder in some ways, because Big Mom's closest associates are her family, and she does rule them with an iron fist, a hockeyed iron fist, I guess. Oh, hold on a sec. But that at the same time also makes it, I would think, easy for Cipher Pol if they could have someone work there, because Big Mom does have a lot of regular citizens there of all races, fishmen and humans, and probably what do you call it? The what's the ones? The animal ones? I can't think of the name. Living there in harmony, because she wants to have the idea. She's making a microcosm of the ideal world that she wants the One Piece world to be, without any sort of persecution and racism and stuff like that. So it wouldn't be too hard for like Cipher Pol, I think, to have some agents slip in there and start living ordinary lives. think kind of like what happened if you watched the MCU movie Black Widow. Natasha's foster family, the father and mother she knew, the ones who they were living in America in the 80s or something, and they're something like that, where they have this family. Well, maybe the Cipher Pol wouldn't try to go all the way to do that, but they would go there and maybe work again maybe in a candy shop. Maybe one of them would go there and work for Pudding, and Pudding would not be a good one to try and get information from, though, I think, because she was too, how do you put it, ingrained to working with Big Mom. But I could just see one of these younger family members who are really afraid of Big Mom and think that what she's trying to do is not going to work, and that maybe Totland would be better off being part of the world government. Would probably be an easy way to work with a Cipher Pol agent to feed them information to start trying to derail Big Mom's efforts by figuring out what she's planning on doing next, or finding out where the poneglyphs are. There's another way. The Cipher Pols could be working in the Emperor's. We're trying to figure out where the Emperors, because we got Big Mom and Kaido for sure, each having a poneglyph, and the world government would probably love to know where those are as well. Do they already know some information? There might be something I'm forgetting on that, but that would be an excellent way for Cipher Pol to do, even if they can't really get in there and help figure out things that will help them demilitarize or destroy the military efforts of military buildup that Kaido and Big Mom are doing. They could find out more about where the poneglyphs are there through, especially with Big Mom, they would have to, again, work with the family and figure out where she kept it, so they could try to, the effort there would probably be to do the same thing that the Straw Hats ended up doing in Brook when he got a rubbing off the poneglyph. With Kaido, it would probably just be about getting into the flower capital. Much like, actually, look at that. The Straw Hats did a pretty good job, as well as Law and his crew working in among them. It would not be that hard because the citizens of Wano, by and large, are such good-natured, friendly, hardworking people. Much like Water 7, it would not be hard for a Cipher Pol agent to get in there and try to just mingle with the people, get some kind of job, just like the Straw Hats did. Look, they each got their own jobs. That's funny how they ended up doing that the same way Cipher Pol did earlier. So they get a job like that to then start moving around the city at night and trying to find where the road poneglyph is. In this case, it had to be difficult too, because much like Big Mom's place, where she kept in a secret place, was it in the Whole Cake Chateau? I forget where it was kept there, but I know at the poneglyph in Kaido's place. No, I think it was not even at Kaido's place. It was still underneath, I think, the capital, in the flower capital, underneath where Orochi was living in the Shogun's home in the flower capital. Hold on. Looking at other crews, look at White Blackbeard next. Blackbeard, I don't know how well they could get into well, they're careful. How well it would be for Cipher Pol to get an agent into their onto Blackbeard's main cruise. But he's on an island full of pirates, the Honeycomb Island, the Beehive Island. And it would be, I think, pretty easy to have a Cipher Pol agent there pose as some kind of ruffian pirate and then just mingle around there and try to learn information. And then they could perhaps see what's going on with Blackbeard's main, his Titanic Titans. He's got a fleet now with them. And then they could try to learn the fleet numbers the ships in each of those. I think he has doesn't Blackbeard have those each as a separate I know he's got each captain heading a ship, and he's got his own too. That's just the Saber of Zebek. I'm just trying to think if Oda showed us really like other ships under each command, follow a little sub-ships of sorts with each of his captain's ship they had. Probably do, and that would be the kind of information that Cipher Pol could go into there and try to ascertain and try to feed back to the Marines so they can get an idea of how much Blackbeard is building up, because much like Kaido, he's building himself up to try to take on the Marines directly someday and create like the start a war. Come on, cat. Sorry for all the shaking. My cat's sitting right behind the camera, and this table's wobbly. Well, did you have to? Nope. So, see, what other fleets? Shanks' ship, that would be special. I think that's going to be near impossible. Shanks seems wrapped so much in mystery that I really have a hard time seeing anyone getting on his ship, but not impossible if they're really good. Now that I think about it, that's one thing Oda hasn't like revealed, a power I think Oda hasn't revealed in One Piece. He's got Iron Hockey, for fighting, a defensive offensive ability. Conqueror's Hockey, which is kind of, I don't know what you call it exactly. And then you got Observation Hockey, which acts as a dual, that lets you do like two things. You can like use it in a way like it's similar to Dragon Ball, where you can sense the amount of living beings in an area around you, depending on how far you can do it. So I think Violet from Dressrosa, the princess, was quite good at this. And then you got abilities like what Katakuri and Luffy and Sanji such, where they can like see enough into the future or something close to it that they can dodge attacks quickly, kind of like the Force from Star Wars actually. So, but what I was just getting at is, I don't think Oda has introduced a power of mind reading yet. I was thinking a bit like in Harry Potter, there's that ability, I forget the name of it, that Dumbledore and Voldemort both were quite good at. And then there was that way you can learn to block it that Snape was really good at, and Harry was attempting to learn it. And I was just thinking, what if Shanks had a power like that to make him and that's why he has such a loyal crew. Why he has a small crew. Well, that has nothing to do with the size. He has a crew where he can be sure of the loyalty. And since he looks like he's a crew where it's similar to Luffy's, and he's not out there to actually cause piracy and cause trouble like Kaido or Big Mom, he would want to have a crew that's like loyal, and having that power would make that easy to make sure he's not getting nasty ass pirates who just want to rape and pillage, and government agents that are there to snoop around. What is that called in Harry Potter? Okay, it was called Legitimacy. Also, I forgot that's what's her name from the girl's name from Queenie from the prequel movies had that ability naturally. So I was just thinking, I'm pretty sure Oda has not revealed anyone to have. Oh yeah, I just realized Queenie, the way they designed Queenie looks a lot like how Stussy looks too in One Piece. I wonder what Oda designed her based on. Probably didn't do Queenie the actress directly. I think what the Big Mom mark earlier in the movie. I'll have to look that up afterward here. But so yeah, I'm just thinking about this. I was just thinking about that, how that there must be Cipher Pol agents among some pirate crews, even like smaller ones. That's probably how one other way the Marines could keep smaller pirate crews who just do the regular random acts of piracy. Well, they probably wouldn't bother doing this as much in like the blues, especially like the East Blue, where it's so weak, it's not really like worth the investment. Maybe some of the other blues where it's more dangerous, they would like have a Cipher Pol agent jump around in these other crews and try to work as a pirate and learn information in order to help the Marines clean up piracy. And if they haven't, I think they damn well should have someone be like that, where they could learn to do that kind of stuff, so that they could help clean up these regular pirates who may be going to random safe little fishing villages with a nice peaceful people, and then they end up getting the place burned down. Women are raped and carted off, unfortunately. All that horrible stuff, basically. And if you could send agents who are very skilled, maybe not as powerful, obviously, as someone like Lucci was even 2 years ago, but someone formidable that could have also a good skill set of like stealth and playing along, just knowing how to mingle in there, then they could really get rid of a lot of those lesser crews that these other crews that roam the world causing trouble. By the way, too, I was just thinking about that part of the thing I forgot to bring up earlier was Stussy. The part of her being part of that pleasure district and being the queen of it probably really helps bring in information by having all her subordinates who work for her, these other ladies that are like entertaining affluent pirates or other people, probably helps her bring in information that then she can also in turn go over the Cipher Pol. This would be similar to like how if you guys anyone's watched Game of Thrones, Littlefinger, that slimy bastard in there, did that kind of stuff. He worked on controlled a brothel and did that stuff. And to get information, I don't know if I forget if that was mostly just, I guess that was mostly just for his goals, because his agenda too was eventually to gain the Iron Throne. Also, in the older Assassin's Creed games, I think number 2 and the sequel Brotherhood, Ezio was working with people with brothels in order to gain information to take down their Templar enemies by having the ladies that worked there try to gather information from the men coming in there to be entertained, as it were. Also, I forgot to go over Whitebeard's crew. I can imagine a Cipher Pol agent could have slipped into Whitebeard's crew, but really, because Blackbeard did a great job sneaking around in there all that time, being tended to be and there's something else too. Blackbeard, I keep forgetting these other characters that did that kind of stuff. Blackbeard played the nice guy who didn't have any aspirations for he was like 12 when he joined the crew, probably. So about 3 decades of playing along, and then played his hand right at the end, just like Stussy did here in the other way. I'm thinking that it probably wouldn't be too hard, unfortunately, for someone to sneak into Whitebeard's crew and try to learn some information. Although, what they could do with it really to stop Whitebeard, I don't know. They didn't try to do anything for all those years he was around up until they caught Ace. So it doesn't seem like if this was something that Oda ever reveals he was doing, it doesn't seem like they ever gained much out of if they did do that with Whitebeard's crew. So I don't think there's much there on that. And it's probably a good thing they haven't figured out anything like that, done anything like that with like Luffy or anything yet, because we don't want them yet to, to follow Luffy right to the Grand Line, to Laughdell, because then, they're going to be hot in his tail with a fleet ready to snatch up whatever is there in hopes that they can keep the King of the Pirates type thing from ever happening again there. So, that's that. So that's my thoughts on that. I was just, wanted to go over that possibility of how Cipher Pol should be doing that if they're not, or could they be doing that, and how that would work out with them having agents. How we already seen that they do this with agents among the population. Oh, by the way, too, I forgot. I noticed they did have like agents. It's interesting how we did see them having agents at both Whitewater 7 and at Dressrosa. Did they say they were Aigis 0 Dressrosa? Let me pause this and look. Shit, yeah, that was them. That was CP0 they showed there at Dressrosa too, and actually the same agents. I recognize especially the middle one and the one to the left from also being at Wano later. the one in the middle, as I remember, if I recall correctly, is the one who distracts Luffy in order to have Kaido kill him. And I think the one on the left is the one who is the only one who escapes, if I recall correctly. So if I wanted to get here, it was interesting here that at this point that they're just walking around so openly at this on Dressrosa. Although Dressrosa at this time is ruled by Doflamingo at this moment, this part of the story. So I mean, they're probably not worried about any sort of problems because he's a warlord and they're an ally essentially. So but it was just like they're not doing much stealth stuff at this point. But maybe that's just not their job to. But so it's just like interesting how they do that. Also, it's very interesting that they come on, cat, come here, hold on. That they they're wearing this white outfit when they're killers. And I'm just thinking they wouldn't wear black or anything to go out there and do any killing, because I'm thinking they would want to hide in shadows and stuff, that typical ninja assassins type stealth stuff. Come on, kitty. Oh, that's one last thing too with Stussy. It's interesting that she's like the one agent, at least we know about, that worked in a public kind of, well, I don't know, Queen of the Pleasure. They called her one of the leaders of the underworld, kind of hinting at the part that the idea of prostitution and that kind of stuff and the brothels in here is probably illegal in the One Piece world as well. Although I assume some other island nations, particularly ones I'm sure that aren't aligned with the world government, wouldn't care. Maybe other ones would just turn a blind eye to that kind of business. But maybe, hey, come on, kitty. Are you gonna come up? It's interesting that she's the only Zero agent we know that is in this position, working undercover, that is, in another position. Interesting that she's the only agent we saw working in an undercover position of such a high affluent position, business in the One Piece world here. And I'm wondering if there are others like her that are doing that to help gain information for the world, on behalf of the world government. Oh yeah, that was another thing. There was that agent working for Morgan's, who tried to make sure that Morgan's. It's funny that they had an agent there trying to make sure Morgan's gave out the information they ordered him to. And they should have really sent someone much better than that, because Morgan's just socked that guy out, as I recall, and he ended up just escaping with some kind of blimp or whatever, and now he's out of their control. I'm wondering, maybe they're going to send an Aigis Zero agent after him next to, well, I wonder how many they got, because I think they lost a few of them. How many did they lose there at Wano? I can't recall now. I think Kaido killed the one. What's his name killed another. So Izo killed, Whitebeard killed one. I think Izo killed one. I know that one got away there. Wait, didn't that one give information? He's the one who leaked the picture about Luffy's picture of what his Gear 5th picture. That dude's probably not long for this world either. So what I'm getting at is I'm wondering if these Aigis Zero agents are in short supply right now. It looks like the only ones that could be concretely left are Stussy, though we know she's probably going to have to leave that position now because she's made her allegiance to Vegapunk known. So down Kaku, Lucci, and the guy that escaped Wano, if he's still alive. And we still don't know, by the way, too, then what happened to the other Cipher Pol 9, Cipher CP9 agents that were part of the Water 7 Enies Lobbyist arc, by the way. So, what was I going to with that, Stussy? Yeah, that's that. I thought that was very interesting how that worked out for Stussy, and how much more other reach the One Piece, the world government may be doing, and having not even just CP0 agents, but other ones working in among society, and more importantly, are they making them work among pirates in order to gather information? Just something I hope Oda will eventually go into some down the line. Anyways, thanks for watching.